Look at that. Sun's out, guns out. Hi, Daniel.
But there are no more. Hey, Luke, as a heavyweight, there are no more guns. There's just body everywhere.
I see you. You're even wearing a food hoodie. You like pokey?
Yes, it's my restaurant. I own these restaurants, California and Florida, Poke OG.
When
I got
did
a couple
you
restaurants.
when did you start that? That's interesting.
In a couple years, two years now, 2 3 years. The one in Anaheim opened like 3 years ago. The one in Miami opened like last summer. So it's good.
Good for you. That's
Good
great to
times.
hear. If I'm ever out in those neck of the woods, I'll be sure to stop by and get a poke bowl. All right, man. Well,
Make
let's.
sure you post it and you give me some love.
All right, I definitely will. I'll put it on Instagram and the whole bit. All right, man, there's a lot to talk to you about, so let's get right into it. First of all, I want to talk about the Stipe stuff, but you did mention in the course of that on Twitter that you were still injured. When we spoke to you last in New York, you were kind of dealing with the thumb. Is it still the thumb? What's the status?
Nah, man, I had some stuff. Remember I hurt my back in New York City when I sneezed. This was no joke, and it's just still trying to rehab it and get better. It was just me hurting my back. I put a lot of miles on myself in my life with the wrestling, but then last year was a big year. And like I said, man, you don't get to have that type of year at my age and not really feel the effects of it. And I'm still going through that right now.
But the thumb is better?
Yeah, the thumb's fine. I mean, I think a lot of times you're hurt in so many ways, but then when one thing like overtakes the other one, you almost forget about it. And then you start to focus on the back and getting the back better and the hand. Obviously I still have my doctor said I've got arthritis in my wrist. That's why my wrist bothers me all the time. So there's nothing I'm really going to be able to do about that. That's just something I have to deal with. But the back has been the focus lately.
Now, what has been the timetable for return? Obviously, there's no fight right now booked for you. Let's say that there was, and they said, what's the earliest you could do it while being healthy? What would you say?
I just don't know if I'm gonna do what I did in New York, again, where I have to fight where I'm not 110%, because I truly do feel like the reason my back went out was because I went from zero to like trying to prepare for a fight in 3 weeks, and I can't really do that because I need those first 4 weeks of a pre-training camp just to prepare my body to go through a full 8 week camp. So I usually do 12 weeks. I did all that in 4, and that's why my body started like falling apart on me. So, I mean, 12 weeks, and I'm not at 100%. So say I'm ready. I don't know, spring, summer. I don't know. I'm not
Okay.
exactly sure yet.
Yeah, so nothing imminent. Okay. Good to hear
Nothing
that
imminent.
it's
No,
yeah.
I know I was gonna be done by March, but that's been pushed because of the injuries and the recovery.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. So that means the official 40th birthday. You and me are both 39, by the way. I'm not super athlete, but my back hurts when I sneeze too. But you are going to push that into the summer now. It looks like probably just as
Yeah,
you mentioned, as a
yeah.
consequence of the injury.
As a consequence of the injury. I mean, I had got offered an opportunity to fight March 2nd, but I just couldn't do it. So I had to kind of they tried to accommodate that day, trying to get me that fight before my birthday, but I wasn't able to do it.
Did they want you to fight Stipe on March 2nd?
I hadn't even gotten an opponent yet, so I don't know who I was going to fight.
All right, let's talk about Stipe. Let me just say something kind of in his defense. If you're Stipe and you're thinking about it, you can kind of understand why he is the way he is about this, where he would want a rematch so bad, how it must bother him. Like on all those levels, I get it. It's just, and I saw the video he put out where he had nice things to say about you and your kids. Like, I've got nothing bad to say about Stipe in any capacity whatsoever, other than, and you mentioned this, I just don't understand the thing at all. What do you make of it? You kind of addressed it on Twitter, but when you saw that, did it bother you that he said you owed him?
That's the one issue that made me respond, because lately I've just kind of been ignoring it. Because as you said, I do think that he is not he un, I understand where he's coming from, because I've been there with Jones twice, and I'm like, God, I know I can beat him if I could just get another opportunity to do it. I know I can beat him. And it burns at you and it eats at you, especially in the way that he lost the fight. It's like, I get it, but I don't have to really owe anything. I've said that too before. I've said he deserves it, right? I've said that. He deserves a rematch if I don't get to fight Brock. I've always stood by that. But you can't just go, well, you owe it to me. And I don't want to sit here and talk bad about Stipe because I like Stipe. I think he's a good guy. He's a fantastic father and he's a pillar of the community. He's a great fighter. I think he's great, but you can't sit there and say he owes me because when I lost to Jones the first time, I thought, man, if I can just get another opportunity, I didn't just sit and wait. I went right back to work at trying to re-earn the opportunity if they weren't going to give it to me. I wasn't a champion, obviously, so it was circumstances were different. But I had right away scheduled a fight to try to get my way back to that fight. And it's almost like he hasn't really taken that approach. That kind of like that's one of the things where I'm kind of like, well, what's going on? Like why hasn't he fought yet still?
If you were his friend or his cornerman, is that your advice? Like, okay, I know it sucked that you lost. Maybe lobby for the rematch, but if it appears like it's not going to happen immediately, get back out there and take a fight?
Just go beat somebody up, like then you can't ignore it. He can go knock somebody out again and it's like, well, you gotta fight him. Like the last memory of him in the octagon is not him getting knocked out. It's like this game is a dirty game. I mean, we saw Jose Aldo have that belt for so many years, and Connor just was gone. It was like I'm not looking back, and when Chris Weidman knocked out Anderson Silva, it was like a year or something before they fought again, right?
Something like, yeah, more than
Was
well,
it Anderson's next fight?
I think so, yeah.
Chris fought again. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, but it was Anderson Silva. He had the belt for 10 years. It's like when we talk about the longest reigning heavyweight champ, it's like the heavyweight division is so like explosive that you don't get super long reigns. And if somebody fought Weidman before Anderson fought again, I mean, and Jose Aldo never got to fight Conor McGregor again. Like, this game that we play is not the most fair thing in the world, and the only way to truly make a statement is to go beat somebody. I just don't like that I fought again, and he still hasn't fought.
Let me ask a candid question here. In the absence of a fighters union, is the best way to get ahead in the UFC to accommodate them, to accommodate their schedule where they just constantly have to churn out events?
I think the best way to get along with the organization and also for yourself is to just be busy. Be busy as you can. I mean, I fought I think now I fought in the UFC more than I've fought in any other organization. And I mean, I've only been in the UFC for 5 years. I fought in Strikeforce for 5 years. Like I just fight and fight and fight. Like I fight so much that when they call me, if I'm healthy, I go fight. And there's there's uh there's good favor in that. And I believe that you can build not only with Stipe, but like just with people. People want to see you compete.
So let's talk about your next step. You're going to have to delay retirement. It's not clear for exactly how long. I'm sure it's obviously still looming
Hey,
in some very.
listen to this. Listen to this.
Okay.
This some crazy shit right here.
Okay.
Stipe hasn't fought in so long that John Jones will have fought twice since he last got to the octagon. When was the
Wow.
last time that's happened? Jones will have had two fights, and at the rate that he's fighting, maybe three by the time Stipe fights again. If he waits and he like fights me in the summer, that's crazy
That
because
is
Jones
crazy.
doesn't fight very often.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That I hadn't even thought of it that way, but you're right. Jesus. Um, okay, well, with that in mind, we don't know exactly when your retirement is, but it is obviously still a real endpoint. It's going to happen. Keeping
Yes.
Stipe in mind, Dana White told TMZ Sports, he's like, Cormier ain't retiring. We got 3 more fights for him. Did he tell you that, or is he just telling TMZ that?
Telling you guys that like he's a very powerful man and he can wish things into existence and then speak things into existence. Those are conversations that we will have fight by fight. Um, we got to watch Anderson Silva fight last weekend at an advanced age and do well, but he I don't want to be fighting to the point that I'm judged by just being competitive. That's not enough for me.
Interesting. Well, you're a lot more than competitive. You're the heavyweight champion, so there is a
So
pretty clear
what I'm
difference.
saying, like, it's so long that I'm getting praised for being competitive. That's not good for me. I don't. That's not. I don't like that. And honestly, Anderson fought good, but when he looks back, he's gonna go, man, I should have won that fight, because that's the mentality that a guy that's so legendary carries. And whereas the general public's giving him praise for just doing good, that won't be enough for Anderson either. When he gets back home, he'll be like, man, I should have won, and that's gonna really like kind of dig at him.
So let's talk about this. I mean, is there any way to map out the next step in the future, because you don't know when you're coming back? Stipe may or may not take a fight between then. I suspect if it's not Cain Velasquez, he'll beat anybody else, right? Because he is that good. So, like, if you're
Yeah.
thinking about your next fight, is it Stipe? Is it Brock? Like, where, when you're really beginning to consider what the next step's going to be, is there still too many unknown variables?
Um, I think maybe Lesnar next would be the fight. And again, as I've always said, if it's not him, yeah, I'll fight Stipe again. It's just it's just the same exact thing. And it's not me. We're not waiting for Brock Lesnar. It's like, because of my injuries, I'm just not available to fight. If I was available to fight, I probably would have fought Stipe already. But I'm just not available to fight right now. So um, we'll see what happens with Lesnar, and then we'll address what's after that. But if we talk about Dana's schedule of fights, he said Lesnar, Stipe, Jones.
Yeah.
I guess that last one at 205 would probably be the best, because I don't want to be going down to 205 back up to heavyweight. So it would be Lesnar, Miocic, and Jones if I had three fights. If I had three fights, if I had two, it may be Lesnar back to 205 to fight Jones. But it's not going to be. Uh, it'll be on my terms.
Moment of truth, Daniel. How heavy are you right now?
Right now, I weigh like 255 pounds, 255.
Solid.
Not, well, not solid. No, 255. Big full beer keg, full beer keg. I was looking. I'm in the mirror like, ugh, that's just disgusting. I can't believe people called me fat before.
All right, let me move this along. Your teammate, Cain Velasquez, is coming back, which is just so exciting. So exciting that he's
Yeah.
back. I really got it. I can't. The buzz is going to build for this in such a way by Friday. I'm so excited for the weigh-ins, just to see him back out there, stairs. One of the best mean mugs in all of MMA. All right. Were you always confident he was going to come back? Was it ever for you a question of, I don't know if Cain's coming back or not?
I think I always was hopeful that he would come back. I'm a massive Cain Velasquez fan. If you haven't learned that over the last 10 years that I've been here, he's just he's just everything you want in a fighter, man. He's got great cardio. He can really every single aspect of mixed martial arts. He's efficient and he's good at. And I just was like, man, I just want to get to watch him fight again and compete again. So yeah, as you're excited, I'm excited. Not as a teammate, but also as a fan of the sport. Dude's just he's a buzzsaw, and I can't wait to watch him where he belongs. He belongs in that octagon, and I'm excited that he gets an opportunity to go and put his skill on display again.
What has the time off done to him? Age is still a thing you have to consider. Not as much at heavyweight. It's not as much of a problem there, but he is older.
Yeah,
Nevertheless, he has time to get better as a fighter, let those injuries heal. What are we in for on Saturday?
you're gonna see vintage, like the best. Nothing's changed. He's still as good. He's still as fast. He still can wrestle as well. Because you got to remember, this whole time that he's been out, he's been just helping me the whole time. He's been helping me, and that's what makes me so sad, is that I've only been able to be there for him only on a few occasions, because I can train, and then I'm like hurt for a week because of right now. So I haven't been able to be there as consistently as I want to, but he's just been helping me. And think about what I've done since the last time Cain fought. I've defended the light heavyweight title like 2 or 3 times and won the heavyweight title, defended the heavyweight title. So he's been just pushing me to heights that I never thought that I could reach. So no, you won't see a difference in Cain Velasquez. He's still as good as he ever was.
Is there any doubt in your mind that he won't be champion again?
He'll be the champ very, very soon. Like as soon as I'm out of there, he'll be the champion. As soon as I'm out of there, he'll be the champion.
Uh,
You know, is the only issue with that is like the UFC has to know that now Cain is healthy and they can trust him because he'll be around for a while.
Right. You know what's interesting? I was thinking about this. You know what one of the most incredible achievements of AKA is? One is that you had Luke Rockhold champion, you champion, 2 different weight classes, Cain champion, Habib Nurmagomedov champion. By itself, that's pretty impressive, or very impressive. Here's what's even more impressive. When Luke wanted to go on his own path for a little while, nobody cried about it. And I'm sure there's been problems behind the scenes, but publicly there didn't seem to be much of an issue with it. When Cain took a back seat, you got a chance to shine at heavyweight. Now that he's coming back, everyone's altering. What is so impressive about AKA is not merely the level of achievement, but the managing of careers with elite fighters in the same weight class at the same time. Dude, have you guys ever thought about that? That is unheard of for a gym.
Well, people usually, it's the ego, right? The ego is normally the issue. The ego is normally the issue. And what I believe Javier Mendez and Bob Cook do so tremendously is they control egos. And we as fighters we're men, and people always ask me stuff like, can you beat Habib? Nope. Can you beat Luke? Nope. Can you beat Cain? Nope. Because the moment you start spewing that negativity in the world, people run away with it. We're we're all brothers, and all we want is for the other one to be successful. It's just it's just the you check your ego at the door, man, because nobody's in there every day as the very best. And it's not even just us four. It's like other guys in the gym can take it to you on any given day. You can go in there as a heavyweight and Justin Willis can put it on you. It's just you have to be open to learn and know that no one part is bigger than the machine. AKA is going to be around forever. That's why it's sustained the test of time. So many gyms have come and gone since those guys opened the doors of the American Kickboxing Academy. And it has long stayed at the top of the game, and it's going to be there long after we're gone.
You know, what's interesting is you have Habib, who has blown up as this star to the Muslim world, certainly to Russia, obviously his native Dagestan, which is, part of it, but also there's a special community there as well. He might sit out for a year, and they might create an interim title. There's some mild talk of him being stripped. Look, man, I thought that $500,000 fine by the Nevada Commission was outrageous. I said so publicly. I get that he's bitter about the whole thing. Nevertheless, I would not like to see him stripped. I would not like to see an interim title introduced. What is your thought about the best way for him to handle that, knowing that you're a friend and training partner?
I think that Habib is doing the most honorable thing I've ever seen in my life. Not many guys will pay the fine, the 500 grand, also pay the fines of your teammates and brothers, right? He's paying their money too. Whatever they find Manap, whatever they find Zubai, he's going to pay it too. Those are his brothers. They were there acting in to help him, I guess. And they're suspended longer. He will sit with them. That's one thing about those guys, man, and their lifestyle and their community is that they are family at the highest level. And what he's doing is just so honorable. Not many people will do that. And he's doing it with the idea that even if they take his title, it does not mean more to him than standing next to his brothers. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And I appreciate it. I do think the fine was steep, whatever. He also said he's not going to fight there anymore. So he's very firm in his approach and very firm in what he wants to convey to the world. And I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of the man that Habib has become. From the moment he walked into AKA to who he is today, I'm very proud of him.
Well, we'll end on this. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm sure you saw Bader become the champ over at Bellator. Bader's always been a good
Yes.
guy to me. I really appreciate that he's had an opportunity to advance his career in that way. Nevertheless, his coach wants to see a champ super fight, which we know is not possible. But I will ask you to weigh in on Bader's championship run there. They literally couldn't land a glove on him. And I know that there were fighters not necessarily in their prime, but he is a pretty competitive fighter. Do you miss the opportunity to have potentially tangled with him?
I think first off, I think Ryan's done tremendous for himself. I've known Ryan since he was in college. He's always been a hard worker and very committed to his family and everything else. I think he's great. It is exciting to watch him gain a level of success that he never truly had gotten to in the UFC, and the chances that he did get there, he had kind of faltered. With that being said, he just really dominated those guys, and it was crazy because King Mo, I watched tech him in wrestling, like maybe score like 10 takedowns. And he just truly had to reset his mind to even compete against him, knowing that his best skill is axed off, right? He can't use it against a guy like Mo. So he went out there and knocked him out. Yeah, it's been nice. It's been good. It's hard watching guys like Fedor, man, get knocked out like that. And he dominated Mitrione, knocked out Mo. It's just it's been good to watch him do what he's done. But he wouldn't be able to fight me. I mean, I like the guy, but it's just different. It's just a little bit of a different approach to. Look, man. At the end of the day, I'm just a nasty old boy. I learned that from Josh Barnett. You get in there, you rub your elbow in their face, you kind of run your hand over their mouth. I'm of the old school, like Josh Barnett. Just hurt them even when you're not doing much, and people don't really like that. So even when I'm hugging them, when it looks like I'm just hugging them, I'm not just hugging them. I'm just kind of really driving my knuckles into their body. I'm driving, like, even when I'm on top and I've got my elbow just in the middle of the solar plex, I'm putting the point of that elbow as deep in there as I can. There's always pain. And I learned that when Josh Barnett was putting pain on me whenever we fought in Strike Force. It's just a different type of mentality that most guys can't match. You got to be a dog if you're going to beat Daniel Cormier. And I don't know if he has that dog in him.
Well, I can't wait to see you return as the dog, as the champ, and so much more. Do me a favor, Daniel. Have some Claritin, have some Allegra, no sneezing to hurt the back again, okay?
Hey, I'm all beat up right now. This wrestling season's weighing on me, Luke. Hey, the high school wrestling season is tough as any training camp I've ever been in my entire life. I mean, it is beating me down, but I love every moment of it. I mean, holding on to my marriage by a string. To think that my wife went to 24 training camps and one wrestling season, she's like, how could you watch this so much? But hey, the ups, the downs, everything has just been perfect. The Gilroy High School Mustangs going to the conference this week and state next week. I'm loving it. But Luke, boy, it is a grind. Season's over in 2 weeks, and I'm excited about it.
Well, get through it the best you can. It's always a thrill to have the UFC heavyweight champion. You're one of the good guys, Daniel. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Luke. Appreciate it.